Welcome to Phase 2 of the exercise program to prepare for sport after an arm amputation. Before moving on to Phase 2, make sure you've mastered the exercises from Phase 1. Take a moment to pause the video here and ensure that your body is ready for this next phase of exercises. The first exercise of Phase 2 is a progression from the hip bridge. Now we'll be doing it with a single leg. Begin this exercise lying on your back with your knees bent. Feel for those core muscles that you practiced before and make sure that's activated. And now you'll lift one leg off of the ground to start. Press through the foot that's on the ground and use your butt muscles to lift your hips straight up in the air. As you're doing this, keep your body controlled with a straight back and don't allow your body to rotate to either side as you progress through the exercise. If the exercise is too challenging, you can place your hands on the ground and press through your arms as you lift your hips up in the air. Next, we'll move on to the side plank. Begin the exercise lying on your side, propped up on your elbow or the end of your residual limb. Engage the muscles on the side of your body to lift your hips up off of the ground onto your feet and hold steady for 5 to 10 seconds. While you're holding this position, don't allow your body to sag down towards the ground or to rotate to either side. And make sure there's enough cushion under your residual limb to provide comfort. If this is too challenging, you can plank on your knees, as you see here, still focusing on not allowing your body to rotate. You can try this adaptation if you're unable to support yourself on just the residual limb. While supporting yourself on the residual limb, reach down with the opposite arm to help unweight your body slightly, still focusing on keeping your body up off of the ground. To focus on shoulder stability, we'll move on to side-lying shoulder raises. Begin lying on your side with your head supported by a cushion or a pillow. Raise your arm up overhead in a slow and controlled manner, keeping your arm as straight as you can, going through your full range that you have available. Bringing the arm back down to your side, slow and controlled. You should feel the muscles in the back of your shoulder engage as you stabilize while you're moving through this motion. Don't allow your arm to sag down towards the ground as you move through this motion, going in either direction. After bringing your arm overhead 10 times, you'll now bring your arm out to the side, engaging the muscles in the back of your shoulder and between your shoulder blades. Make sure you perform this slowly to make sure that you're controlling the motion the entire time. Try holding a light weight in your hand or wrapping an ankle weight around your residual limb. Another common mistake in this exercise is to allow your shoulder to shrug towards your ear. Avoid this when performing this exercise in both directions. To progress your rotational core stability, we'll perform a bird dog. Perform this exercise in quadruped, which means on your hands and knees, with your hands directly below your shoulders and your knees directly below your hips. Raise one arm off of the ground, followed by the opposite leg, and hold this position for 5 seconds. Don't emphasize how far you can move your arm and leg, only that you're able to hold your body still as you lift them off the ground. You should avoid allowing your back to arch during this exercise, trying to keep it as straight as you can. And also avoid allowing your body to rotate to either side, trying to keep yourself as stable as possible. If the exercise is too challenging to begin with, you can start by moving one limb at a time, moving one arm, then the other, followed by each leg. You may also have to use a cushion or series of cushions in order to bring the surface up to the height of your residual limb, allowing your shoulders to remain flat. Next, we'll work on rotational strength with the kneeling row. Begin in a kneeling position, facing directly towards the resistance band attachment on a door or wrapped around a pole. You'll pull back on the resistance band and reach forward with the opposite arm, allowing your shoulders to rotate back and forth. Avoid allowing your shoulder to shrug up towards your ear during this exercise. You can see from another angle that you should be rotating just through your shoulders and upper back. By keeping your core muscles engaged, you should be able to prevent your body from rotating entirely like you see here. If you are unable to grip the band, you may try this next adaptation. Place the band around your residual limb as far down as you can and pull back the same way, rotating with the shoulders. This may reduce the range of motion you're able to perform this exercise with. The final exercise of phase 2 is a progression of the hip hinge called the Romanian deadlift. Begin this exercise in an athletic stance with your feet shoulder width apart, holding the weight at your midline. Hinge forward at the waist, just as you practiced before with the broomstick. The target for the weight should be directly between both of your feet. You should feel the muscles in the backs of your legs and your butt working. As you perform this exercise, don't worry about going all the way to the floor with the weight. The weight should only travel till just below your knees. Instead, focus on keeping your back as straight as you can, only hinging as far as you can before allowing your back to bend. As you see here, as my hips don't hinge at all, but instead my back rounds and bends towards the ground. Another common mistake during this exercise is to perform more of a squat movement, allowing your hips to drop down towards the ground. Focus instead on driving your hips backwards, hinging forward at the hips. Next, you'll see an adaptation designed to allow you to do this exercise if you can only hold a weight with one hand. The exercise should look exactly the same. Just make sure you hold the weight at your midline in line with your nose and reach the weight directly in between both of your feet. Take a moment now to pause the video or take a screenshot so that you can keep track of the reps and sets that are recommended for these exercises.